Welcome to Hero Villains. In your opinion, who wins when Firestorm faces Magneto? The clash of atomic intellect and magnetic power. Firestorm is a fused entity formed by two people, usually Ronnie Raymond and Martin Stein, creating a hero whose intelligence and power go far beyond ordinary limits. He possesses the ability to manipulate molecular structures, transforming matter at will, from metal into gas, from energy into tangible forms. In battle, Firestorm does not rely solely on raw power, but also uses scientific reasoning to create innovative strategies. However, the coordination between the two consciousnesses within him can sometimes become a weakness, causing him to be one step slower against ruthless opponents. Magneto, the Master of Magnetism, is one of the most powerful mutants ever to exist. He can control all forms of metal, generating magnetic fields strong enough to lift entire cities or bend the very structure of the planet. Not only does he possess overwhelming power, but he is also a seasoned strategist, always ready to exploit every weakness of his opponent. In this confrontation, he fights not only with power, but with an iron will, turning the battlefield into a domain where every metallic element obeys him absolutely. Before we dive deeper into the analysis, please hit the subscribe button and do not forget to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you all so much. Firestorm is not merely a superhero with destructive power. He possesses the ability to control matter at its deepest level. His power to restructure atoms and subatomic particles allows him to transform nearly any inorganic substance at will. Firestorm can also reshape objects, bending physical reality as if it were nothing more than a block of clay in his hands. He can turn water acidic, transforming vast oceans into deadly zones where no life can survive. Just a minor change in chemical structure is enough to destroy an entire underwater ecosystem, creating a spreading catastrophe beyond control. But that is still not his limit. Firestorm can convert oxygen into hydrogen sulfide, a toxic gas capable of wiping out life on a massive scale. Once the atmosphere is poisoned, life on Earth would have almost no chance of survival. Oxygen is the foundation of life, from the smallest organisms in the ocean to the most complex life forms on land. All of them depend on it. With a single decision, a fleeting thought in Firestorm's mind, the entire planet could fall into absolute silence. Oceans, once overflowing with life, become terrifyingly still. The sky no longer carries the breath of existence, and everything sinks into a cold and lifeless void. Firestorm is regarded as one of the most powerful entities in existence, not only because of his immense strength, but because of his nearly limitless potential. He can ascend to the level of a god, where the boundary between matter and will almost ceases to exist. However, that very infinity comes with a terrifying risk. When his power exceeds his ability to control it, Firestorm can become unstable, like a primordial explosion of pure destruction. His strength lies in his ability to manipulate particles at the subatomic level. This also explains why Firestorm can stand against warriors of Diana's caliber, and under certain conditions, he absolutely has the chance to match her. Wonder Woman. Firestorm can also render himself invisible, manipulate energy on a colossal scale, and even create nuclear explosions with virtually no size limit. In one surge of power, he survived an explosion equivalent to 2 megatons, a number large enough to flatten an entire city. His rage at that moment was almost impossible to contain, turning him into the center of a living catastrophe. There was even a moment when Firestorm deliberately triggered an explosion just to restore his body to normal. A clear demonstration that he does not merely endure such energies, but masters forces beyond conventional understanding. For comparison, one might recall the moment when Superman had to exert his full strength to protect Wonder Woman from a similar blast, showing just how dangerous Firestorm can be. Firestorm is one of the few beings capable of pushing even Superman into a dangerous situation. With his ability to manipulate matter at the atomic level, he could theoretically create kryptonite, the Man of Steel's most fatal weakness. Beyond that, Firestorm can alter the nature of a sun itself, changing life-giving yellow radiation into red radiation that weakens Superman. What makes Firestorm truly special is not only his power, but the very nature of his existence. He is not a single individual, but the fusion of two human beings. One controls the body, while the other guides the intellect. Initially, this was Ronnie Raymond, a high school student, and Martin Stein, a brilliant physicist. The fusion of instinct and intellect created an entity both powerful and adaptable, where science and will merge into one. Firestorm demonstrates his power in ways that are both strange and astonishing. He can reconstruct weapons before they are even fired, turning danger into harmlessness in an instant. The streams of nuclear fire he creates are powerful enough to pierce almost any obstacle. He once even transformed a helicopter into a giant Coca-Cola bottle. Firestorm can rearrange molecules to create entirely new structures, even reproducing properties similar to kryptonite. However, this power is not completely absolute. Altering organic matter is extremely difficult, almost impossible, and every action depends heavily on the user's knowledge of chemistry. At his maximum state, Firestorm can be compared to entities with absolute control over matter, such as Molecule Man. However, his greatest weakness lies in the human being behind that power. His lack of experience and, at times, his tendency to choose the simpler option rather than the optimal one means that Firestorm does not always make full use of his potential. From his hands, he can unleash blazing flames of pure destruction. Not ordinary fire, but energy at the atomic level. The most terrifying aspect of Firestorm lies in his ability to emit nuclear fire and manipulate inorganic matter. He can restructure the environment around him, turning everything into a weapon or a shield in an instant. Although he is often seen as somewhat limited compared to other nuclear powerhouses, such as Captain Atom, Firestorm is still more than capable of overwhelming top-tier opponents. However, when facing Flash, the outcome is far from simple. If it is a slower version such as Jay Garrick, Firestorm has enough time to react and control the battle. But against speeds that are nearly beyond perception, like those of Barry Allen or Wally West, the situation immediately reverses. When the opponent moves so fast that he cannot even be seen, Firestorm may attempt to manipulate the surrounding matter to lock down Flash's movement space, preventing him from phasing through or accelerating further. Yet the harsh reality is that before that intention can even be fully formed, Flash's overwhelming speed is already enough to end the battle. He also possesses the ability to fly, along with speed, endurance, energy projection, phasing, superhuman strength, and regenerative capabilities. He is like a fusion of Martian Manhunter or Vision with Molecule Man or Dr. Manhattan. And Firestorm is far more powerful than Human Torch, and he does not need to rely on more fire or anything related to flames alone in order to confront him. But his power has gradually been toned down over time. This actually makes him a more interesting character because he has limitations. The idea of creating something out of nothing becomes dull when a character has almost no weaknesses. However, he does not, and should not, be restricted to using only fire. Every battle Firestorm enters is not merely a contest of strength, but a race against time, where even a single moment of delay is enough to turn a god into the defeated. I truly hope you will subscribe to the channel. It would help us so much, and you are absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. Now let us talk about Magneto. Max Eisenhart, widely known by the name Magneto, is not only a tremendously powerful mutant, but also a symbol of iron will. Under the name Eric Magnus Lensher, he carries a clear ideology within him, willing to do whatever it takes to protect his own kind. Magneto was once classified as Alpha level, but he is now ascended to Omega level, the pinnacle of power where limits almost cease to exist. Magneto's power is not merely immense, it is absolutely overwhelming. He possesses complete control over magnetism, one of the fundamental forces that governs all forms of matter. This allows him to manipulate metal at will, but that is only the surface of what he can do. Magneto can influence the entire electromagnetic field of a planet, adjusting the invisible streams of energy that keep the world in motion. In one extraordinary display, he maintained the structure of a celestial even after its head had been severed. He once pulled back a colossal mass of metal drifting light years away from Earth, where Kitty Pryde was trapped, an act of extraordinary power and will. And it does not stop there. He can lift entire islands from the ocean floor, move mountains, bend the flow of rivers, and even threaten to drown the world beneath natural disasters of his own making. Magneto's power is sometimes placed on the same level as cosmic entities, such as the Phoenix Force. He once enveloped the entire planet in a colossal electromagnetic pulse, throwing modern civilization into chaos in a single instant. Even more terrifying is the fact that he can perform multiple actions at once, controlling and distributing his power with a level of accuracy that is nearly flawless. When Magneto extends his hand, the world trembles not only because of magnetic force, but because of his unshakable will. It is a feeling both overwhelming and terrifying, when one individual can stand in the middle of the universe and force it to bend to his will. One of Magneto's most terrifying abilities lies not in attack, but in the way he becomes almost untouchable. Surrounding his body at all times are invisible magnetic force fields, constantly active like a natural suit of armor. Even when he is not in battle, this protection remains, as if it were an instinctive reflex of someone long accustomed to living in danger. These barriers are powerful enough to withstand the strongest superhuman warriors. Blows from Thor wielding Mjolnir, the godlike strength of Hercules, or even Spider-Man enhanced by the Uni-Power cannot easily penetrate this shield. There was even a time when Magneto stood firm against the combined assault of Thor and She-Hulk at the same time, yet remained standing. The durability of this shield is extraordinary. It can endure at the very center of a nuclear explosion, where everything else would be erased in an instant. Not only that, Magneto has also created barriers strong enough to resist combined energy blasts from Cyclops, Havoc, Iron Man, and Doctor Doom. Even an advanced cannon designed to pierce through a planet was stopped cold by this defense. Magneto's force field also protects him from the harshest environments imaginable. Molten lava, the flames of Human Torch, massive thermal explosions, and even the hellfire of Ghost Rider cannot break through. Plasma rounds hotter than the surface of the sun are halted as if they had struck an invisible wall. Magneto can even create a survivable space within the freezing emptiness of the cosmos. By maintaining a protective force field around himself, he preserves breathable air and moves freely through the endless void. That image is both majestic and lonely. A single man drifting among the stars, protected only by the strength of his own power. Magneto does not merely control metal. He also turns his own suit into a living armor. By reinforcing the ultrafine metallic fibers within his costume through magnetic fields, he creates a protective layer whose durability comes close to the level of adamantium. Because of this, Magneto can stand firm against devastating blows from opponents such as Namor or Colossus, while still maintaining complete control. He can also unleash electromagnetic beams and pulses with terrifying destructive force. These waves of energy do not merely crush metal, they can also destroy non-metallic matter. Magneto has used that power to severely injure Storm, defeat Iron Man with a single strike, level an entire mountain, and even crack the armor of Holocaust. Every time he unleashes his strength, space itself seems to warp under invisible pressure. Magneto's mobility is extraordinary. He can fly across immense distances with fluidly changing speed, as if he were merging with the planet's own electromagnetic field. Magneto can connect his sense of touch to Earth's electromagnetic field, creating a form of perception far beyond ordinary senses. Even when Lilandra once temporarily stripped him of his abilities, his mastery over magnetic and electromagnetic forces remained so refined that he could nullify gravity within a limited radius around himself by reversing the polarity of Earth's magnetic field. Magneto also possesses the ability to generate powerful electromagnetic fields capable of moving and manipulating non-metallic objects, as well as suspending them in midair. He can also achieve this through force fields. He can even detect tachyon particles and many other forms of antimatter. Magneto can blend alloys with Earth, water, air, and even organic matter. It is precisely through this technique that he can easily manipulate the biomechanical physiology of Omega Sentinel. Magneto can control traces of iron within organic matter and manipulate iron-rich blood flowing to the brain to create highly limited yet dangerous effects. For perspective, there are only about 2.5 grams of iron in the blood of a healthy person, and perhaps no more than 1 additional gram in the rest of the body. To visualize that amount, a coin weighs roughly 2.5 grams. Magneto has also used his magnetic abilities to rip the adamantium bonded to Wolverine's skeletal structure apart. Although Magneto's primary power is magnetism, he can also project or manipulate virtually any form of energy within the electromagnetic spectrum, influencing other forces as well, even though magnetism remains his preferred domain. He is capable of firing and absorbing various forms of radiation or electromagnetic energy, generating extreme heat comparable to infrared radiation. The electromagnetic spectrum includes visible light, radio waves, ultraviolet rays, gamma rays, and X-rays, and Magneto can project any one of these. Magneto has also trained himself extensively to fight those with telepathic abilities, giving him the ability to resist telepathic attacks even while unconscious. This training is similar to what Professor X taught the X-Men and the New Mutants, although its effectiveness is further amplified by his helmet, his indomitable will, and his own electromagnetic power. The confrontation between Firestorm and Magneto takes place in an abandoned city, where no life remains, only cold blocks of concrete and rusted metal. From the very first seconds, Magneto seizes the initiative. He commands cars, power poles, and every fragment of metal in the surrounding area to surge forward like a dense rain of bullets. But Firestorm chooses not to evade. He rockets into the sky, and in a single instant, all the metal hurtling toward him is transformed into gas or harmless materials. The first attack vanishes, leaving a clear sense of surprise across the battlefield. Magneto immediately changes tactics. He unleashes electromagnetic pulses and attempts to directly affect the nuclear energy that forms Firestorm's very nature. However, instead of being weakened, Firestorm absorbs that energy source and counters with a violent nuclear explosion. Faced with that wave of destruction, Magneto raises his magnetic force field to its absolute maximum, creating an invisible wall that completely stops the blast. The battle only grows more dangerous from there. Magneto attempts to manipulate the metallic elements within Firestorm, even though his body is composed primarily of energy. In response, Firestorm transforms the surrounding air into a hostile environment, turning it into acid or even a vacuum, while simultaneously shrinking himself down to the molecular level to avoid being controlled. He then begins targeting his opponent directly, transforming the armor and metals surrounding Magneto into harmless substances or highly volatile compounds, causing the momentum of the battle to gradually shift in his favor. Magneto pushes himself to his absolute limit, trying to drain all of Firestorm's energy in order to end the fight. But Firestorm surpasses that limit by completely converting his body into pure energy, freeing himself from all material constraints. From this state, he restructures the reality around them, trapping Magneto inside a harmless construct and ending the battle in a way that cannot be reversed. Firestorm holds the clear advantage, with a higher probability of victory. His ability to transform matter is not only flexible, but nearly absolute, allowing him to neutralize almost every attack before it can even take effect. Meanwhile, Magneto's terrifying power, as immense as it is, still depends on magnetic fields and matter that can be influenced. Firestorm is stronger and wins, with a 7 out of 10 victory ratio. I hope you enjoyed this battle. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. Follow me if you enjoyed it. That is today's video. Thank you very much.